Over the last 10 days, a lot of things have come to light and begun to take center stage when it comes to Activision Blizzard, the Blizzard side of the company, the World of Warcraft team, and the future of a company that created games that define genres and generations. The future is looking bleak, and in this video I'll cover these developments in chronological order, give a general overview of each event, and provide links in the description for all sources for those who are out of the loop and would like to dig a little deeper. This video is part of a trilogy that I aim to post this week, with the other two parts covering the future of WoW as players and content creators quit the game, and the other video talking about alternatives to Activision Blizzard games for those who no longer want anything to do with the company's products. If that sounds like something you're interested in, subscribe to see more very soon. So just before the first bit of news broke, I took around 10 days off from playing WoW, making videos, content creation, and Twitter. Well, holy shit. On July the 21st, Bloomberg Law broke the news that Activision Blizzard are being sued following a 2-year investigation by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing after finding evidence that Acti Blizz discriminated against female employees in terms of conditions of employment, including compensation, assignment, promotion, and termination, as well as evidence that the company's leadership consistently failed to take steps to prevent discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. 2 days later, Blizzard's president J. Allen Brack sent an email to staff about the lawsuit. His statement overall was poorly received, and in my opinion, whilst I'm sure his hands are tied as to what he's allowed to say, it's overall a load of bullshit, deflective waffle that could be copy-pasted from the various responses that we've seen from other gaming companies such as EA and Ubisoft in the past, which we all know has been swept under the rug for the most part. A day later, Activision Blizzard executive Fran Townsend issued a response that was nowhere near the same tone as Brack's and called the recent lawsuit extremely troubling, whilst calling the alleged behavior completely unacceptable. Townsend is a relatively new hire to Activision Blizzard starting in the March of this year, and sent out an internal email which called the sexual harassment and discrimination lawsuit meritless and irresponsible, distorted or untrue, and factually incorrect, with out-of-context stories, some from more than a decade ago. So, whilst taking into context that Townsend is a pretty new hire to the company as an executive vice president for corporate affairs, serving as the corporate secretary and chief compliance officer in March of this year, overseeing corporate functions such as government affairs as well as public policy and communications, plus her history being Homeland Security advisor to George W. Bush from 2004 to 2007, I am not at all surprised in the highly defensive and bat the ball back style approach to her response. Whilst there is some potential merit to claims that these allegations include 10-year-old incidents, the fact this investigation began before her joining of the company this March and the responsibilities that the positions she now holds or has held since then with Activision Blizzard, I would hardly expect her to confirm any allegations included in the investigation as true, but Jesus Christ, does her reply lack any sense of fucking compassion or humanity to it. The whole thing reads like good old proper corporate spiel. On the same day of Townsend's reply, former Blizzard president Mike Morhaime shares his thoughts on the lawsuit, which includes holding up hands, apologizing, acknowledging things were wrong, and also including what comes across as a genuine attempt to reach out and start making changes to the industry. Of course, these are all just words, and whilst they are some of the nicest ones we've seen so far, the thing that everyone will want to see is action, which I'm sure takes time and hard work. The day after, we had another ex-Blizzard employee who is a bona fide legend, the former Blizzard vice president Chris Metzen, weigh into the conversation with what overall reads as an actual, genuine apology. Now, it's a powerful thing in the way that it's done because it's close to one of the things that people have been asking for from the situation, which is acknowledgement, but on the other hand, somewhat confirms that on some level, somewhere in the upper reaches of the company, they knew bad shit was happening, and that makes it feel like they failed worse than we currently know. Take that as you will, but overall, it's like Morheime's response, but dialed up a few notches in the right direction. The next day, being 25th of July, so about 4 days after the initial lawsuit news broke, several Blizzard employees used Twitter to share their support for the victims and to condemn Activision Blizzard's handling on the situation so far, which, in case I haven't made completely clear so far in the video, has been utter shit. The next day, 3 events take place. 3,200 past and current Activision Blizzard employees publish an open letter criticizing Activision's official statement on the lawsuit and outline their disgust at the official responses so far, the damage the statements inflict moving forwards, the lack of trust in their leadership to enact any change, and a call for better statements that recognize the seriousness of the allegations, whilst also showing some compassion to the victims of the harassment and the assaults. I really can't blame them at all, and absolutely applaud the open letter. There will be no change without unifying and raising their voices against the corporate structure and those in positions above them to do better to take real action. Now, the next thing is a bit worrying, as a response from what appears to be either majority or wholly Activision employees from a Zoom meeting, which effectively promises not much change, more of the same, and a downplaying of how shit the show has been thus far, and also includes one of the execs using the following as a deflective statement regarding his colleague Townsend's statement. I can't control how everybody in the company responds, and the note from Frances Townsend wasn't the right communication. That's corporate cowardice at its finest. And then further to this, several more former Blizzard employees speak up about Activision Blizzard, and with great bravery, strength, and detail, cover several topics and instances of acts of sexism, groping, LGBTQIA support dismissal, frat boy culture, high-level employees being aware of the incidents, and flagrant racism. I have to say at this point, the more I get through this video, the worse it gets, and I suspect that this is going to be the case for the lawsuit in its entirety. We have but the tip of the iceberg, and there is a lot more shit to come. On the 27th of July, Activision Blizzard employees organize and state their intent to stage a walkout protest on the Wednesday for #ActiBlizz Walkout, to further echo the open letter's intent and call to action. So the walkout did have a statement of intent, and that was sent directly to Wowhead that I won't read out, and I'll leave on screen for you to pause for a moment. And I'm not saying this with any intention to belittle their statement of intent with a TDLR, but the general point here is to treat each other equally and with respect. Now, on the same day, the 27th, several other things take place. The Warcraft team releases their own statement on the lawsuit and their intent to remove in-game references to offending parties in the lawsuit, starting with references to their former senior creative director, Alex Afrasiabi, the scumbag in charge of the Cosby suite, which I will get to shortly. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick responded to the lawsuit by calling their initial response tone deaf, which is a massive understatement, and fucking rich coming from the man who lined his bonus pool pockets with the firing of countless staff members. The fact that his response also came just as the ActiBlizz stock price took a 5-point dip following the staff walkout news breaking further accentuates the utter scumbaggery on display in his response, which, again, I'll leave on screen for you to pause or links in description, but in the words of Gandalf,
"The language is that of Mordor, which I will not utter here."
All of his response is just words until we see some action, and there is absolutely zero trust when it comes to Activision Blizzard, the effect that they've had on Blizzard Entertainment over the years, the ever-diminishing quality of their games, the broken promises and hearts, and of course, their desire to get all the money ever. If you'd like to learn more about the evil that is Bobby Kotick, I recommend any video from Jim Sterling on the subject. He is one of the few people who can put into words what a witless worm Kotick is. More Blizzard employees come forward with support from victims to condemn Activision Blizzard's handling of the situation, and a statement is released from the #ActiBlizz Walkout organizers in response to Bobby Kotick's statement, pointing out critical elements at the heart of the employees that the statement failed to address. The end of forced arbitration for all employees, worker participation in oversight or hiring and promotion policies, the need for greater pay transparency to ensure equality, and employee selection of a third party to audit HR and other company processes. The following day, the 28th of July, which is the Wednesday of the walkout, two more developments arise. Kotaku breaks the news of utterly disturbing images and evidence related to Alex Afrasiabi, which I mentioned previously. I won't read you the whole article, but please review this for yourself via the links in the description and at your own leisure, but be warned that this will either make you feel sick to your stomach, angry, sad, or all three at once. And then several global investor rights law firms have announced their own investigations of potential securities claims on behalf of Activision Blizzard shareholders as a result of the discrimination lawsuit against ActiBlizz. These types of investigations are sadly quite commonplace, especially when there's any noticeable and sudden dip in stock markets. I personally don't think much is going to come from it, but fingers crossed the investigation gains momentum and supporting evidence to proceed with success. And finally, to wrap up the events so far, we have images provided to Wowhead by employees that took part in the Activision Blizzard walkout. More power to you, and may changes come swift. Just as I was finishing editing this video, some further developments have come along from our favourite Activision Blizzard executive, Frances Townsend. She's tweeted sharing an article that covers the problem with whistleblowing, titled "The New Moral Code of America's Elite" from theatlantic.com. And honestly, I've run out of resilience at this point. Going through the whole situation, it's just one shit mess to the next with ActiBlizz. I tried my best to read through this article, but I genuinely felt my soul turn to dust as I got to like the 4th paragraph. Link as always in the description. But my takeaway from this is Townsend comes across so heartless and corporate to the point it wouldn't surprise me at all if she calls reporting sexual abuse at the workplace whistleblowing. I could not guess what this shit show has in store for us next. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and as I said, like and subscribe if you're interested to see the other 2 videos I've got coming as part of this series where we're going to discuss the future of WoW now that players and content creators are quitting, and alternatives to Activision Blizzard games and what you can play instead of WoW, Diablo, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Hearthstone. Take care, and hopefully, I'll see you next time.